Okay, all right, guys. Thanks for joining. This is your channel, The Real Shaw 256 on YouTube. Um, so, lots to talk about today. Crazy beginning of the week today. We got started off with, a huge amount, landslide of news, which we'll get to here in just a moment. But let's see. First, want to make sure everything's kosher here. All right, looks like we are recording. So, all right. So, yeah, we'll get to this news here in just a bit. But first of all, I think the first thing in order should be to talk about the market cap and looking at things here. We're currently sitting at $231 billion, which we haven't seen in a very long time, guys. So this is definitely something that's caught my attention for sure. If we go back about a year, I want to look at the overall market cap back in August, September-ish time frame when we were actually very close to what we're at today. So currently sitting at 233, give or take. Back in September, end of or beginning of September, um, to kind of the last week of August when we last seen these type of volumes. Also, the Bitcoin dominance is at 59 or 60%, something we haven't seen since actually um, December 17 at the top of the bull market when we reached 20,000. That's even a longer way back since we've seen Bitcoin dominance at 60%. So definitely something that is worth mentioning, definitely something worth talking about. Um, yeah, so um, definitely bullish momentum. Um, there's some that are saying, hey, you know what? I think we've reached the bottom. We're definitely going up from here. There's no more going down. We're not going to set a lower low. That kind of talk. We're definitely out of the bear market into the new bull market. I'm not ready to quite call it that yet as we look at the weekly chart here. Um, Not ready to call it a full-on bull market, although, it's making a definite good case. We're sitting at 7,800. And it's just funny how things change from one month to the next. We started at this really parabolic run back in the last few days of March. We started seeing upward momentum building. And then look at this, April. First, I think everybody was talking about this on the 1st of April. Everybody was kind of alluding to April Fool's, saying that this is a fool's run and this is not going to last, blah, blah, blah. Well, here we are, month and a couple weeks later. We're sitting at $7,800. We're still above every major moving average, anything significant. We're still way above it, trading at 78, 71 currently. And we don't have a whole lot of resistance here going back, guys. So maybe this top here, sitting at around $8,100, $8,200, that's going to be a resistance point. Now, if we do happen to go above that here, in fact, let me put on a horizontal trade line here. So this will be our next resistance right here at about $8,100. If we pierce through that with some volume and some solid momentum, then my next stop is right up here to where our previous high before this high here, this high here, our previous high from this high here, we're looking at, about $9,700. Again, if we move through that convincingly, then again, there's very little over here at around 10 grand. And look at this, guys, all the way up to about 11.5. Okay, so Just we need to take it step by step. Right now we're at 7,800. Our last move was, hey, let's get to 8,000 and see what happens there. We definitely moved past above it very convincingly. I think our high for the last 24 hours was like 8,100 based on Binance. I use Binance because that's where I trade, but just depending on what exchange you're using, um, it'll give you a slightly different number. But according to Binance, we hit $8,100 earlier today, and then we're kind of in the middle of a correction here, so we're probably going to settle here, ride it out for a little bit, and then retest this $8,100 area here. And again, if we pierce through that, we're likely going to go into this area here at around 82.50, I want to say. And if we continue on like we have been for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, then you can certainly make a case for 9,000 plus. As we see here, about mid 9,000 range, $9,600 range, and we'll reassess from there. See what the market is doing, see how volume is doing. Certainly, that's a big and huge indicator for me is volume, how things are trading. Do we have buying pressure or selling pressure? We're likely to sell this top if we get to it, come back down, and then maybe retest the highs again. And depending again how that goes, we might pierce all the way up to, gosh, 11.5 seems it's even hard to say, but anything's possible in these crypto markets. We've seen it happen many times. Expect the unexpected, basically. But overall, I think longer term, kind of drew this out a couple days ago in my last video. If you guys want to go check that out, I drew this sort of scenario where I think we're likely to go is down into this golden pocket area here. We've also got this resistance trend here that should definitely provide some good buying support down here when we get to it. I don't think we're going to go below it, although, again, it's a crazy market. It's crypto. Expect the unexpected. You might actually go down. And if we do break this point, I think we should be looking for a lower low. And then from there, I just don't want to. I really don't want to go in that dark scenario because it would look pretty dim for Bitcoin in the market. We certainly probably would go under 100 billion market cap overall, and that's just not good. That's not something I really want to think about right now. I think I'd rather stay more on the bullish side and think positively and say, okay, we're this is kind of the scenario we're looking at now. Golden pocket with some support, trendline support here, should be very hard to break through on the downside of this area here. This is where I'm looking to accumulate. This is where definitely I'm going to be buying in some more. Not financial advice, although for this channel is new, so a little bit of background real quick is I used to be a certified FINRA financial advisor. Used to have my 6 and 63, so I do have a pretty good knowledge and background on financial markets. So a little bit of that. Yeah, so I'm looking to accumulate here, probably bounce from there, and again keep or continue our move upward into definitely a certified bull market 2019. I'm looking for this, maybe this summer. This is where I'm looking for all of this to play out. Maybe July, August time frame. But again, just keep your eyes open. If you do trade, try to do it, on a time frame where you can actually pay attention. There was somebody actually in one of my other Telegram groups where some guy was talking about, hey, how do you guys manage your stop losses? Because it seems like the guy had set a stop loss and was hit pretty hard. Hit his stop loss, and he ended up losing, some money, whatever. I'm not sure what the amount is, but he ended up losing some money. So, I personally, guys, this is not financial advice again, but this is what I do, right? I've actually learned the hard way in these markets. This is kind of sort of the Wild West, And what I learned is that if I'm going to trade these markets, I'm going to do it where I have the time to do a live trade, unless I'm doing sort of a swing trade, right? Kind of like right, say back here, and I'm looking to do more of a long term run. Then I definitely don't set a stop loss. But I want to enter into a trade because something looks promising, but I'm just not sure if I want to write it out for the long haul. Then I'm going to enter a trade and not set a stop loss because I'm going to watch it and I'm not going to let the market fish me out like in some scenarios. Um, I wanted to point out a good um, to a good example here where we see just the market being the market. Like right here, this guy right here just fishing out and blowing through some stop losses here, liquidating some massive amounts here, some longs for sure. Some people are definitely liquidated on these long wicks. So again, right here happened just a few hours ago. So be very very careful. Don't have to do what I do, but again, I just don't play those stop losses again because these markets can be very, very wild like that. So yeah, so just be real careful out there when you're trading. Um, Let us know what you think about that. Down below. If you have any other techniques, definitely share them with the community. I would certainly could use a difference in opinion. Maybe there is a better way. I just haven't found out. So. All right, so moving on to the news. Monday, I mean, just the beginning of the week, we're getting off to a huge start. I haven't seen this amount of news in a long time, hitting all at once. So I found this tweet, the Rhythm Trader. I'm actually going to go ahead and follow. This was very, very interesting to me, and it kind of summed up the day today, the start of the week. I'm gonna go ahead and follow him because I think he's right on pretty much calling what the summary of what happened today. So the last time Bitcoin broke 8,000, right? Microsoft wasn't building anything on it. Congress wasn't fighting it. Bakkt was not launching. Square wasn't selling it. Fidelity, forget about it. The Ameritrade, pipe dream. Whole Foods, are you kidding me? Whole Foods? Yeah, no, did excuse me, did not. I mean, none of this. If you look at this a year ago, you would have probably been laughing. I think the most resounding, in my opinion, the one thing that really sticks out to me, this guy right here, Microsoft, building on top of Bitcoin. Um, to me, it's the obvious choice. It makes sense. It is the most secure network, the highest and most hashing power out of all the blockchains out here. Definitely, probably one of the true decentralized networks in the crypto space. So, definitely an obvious move, in my opinion, with Microsoft. Building a decentralized identity platform. So, to kind of sum it up, this is supposed to give power back to the user, right? So right now with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything that you post on those platforms is really it's really not your content. It's owned by these basically Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey. These guys own all of your data, own all of the particulars about what you do on social media, so they can resell that information to their marketers, and they can actually, kind of tailor um, their products, if you will, onto you, and that's how Facebook and Twitter make a lot of money on the back end. So Microsoft is trying to build a different platform and giving people the ownership of their own content, which is I think is amazing and great idea. I mean, this is kind of where everything's going in this direction, a decentralized you know, private, privacy oriented world as opposed to, you know, this pervasive surveillance based um, content and social media platform. So I definitely see I see what Microsoft sees in this opportunity, and it's basically offering something that's not currently out there, and that I think people, I know myself, would flock to something like that, um, because again, you know, Facebook can shut down your page at any moment. So can Twitter. I mean, we've seen it with Twitter so many times. We've seen it with Instagram, and you know, you lose all of your content, all of your hard work just gone in a second if they so choose to. And you know, this again gives you the power to control your own content, and you own your own content. If they decide to shut you down, then guess what? You still own your content, still own your information. So that's kind of where, you know, things are headed, and Microsoft is definitely on the up and up on that. They are recognizing that, and good on them for, you know, initiating this new application. Congress wasn't fighting it last time. We broke 8,000. Um, you know, no, you're right. I mean, they weren't. They weren't really in the picture, and so far, I can kind of say that, you know, that's kind of their attitude so far. They don't want to stifle crypto, and rightfully so. They are kind of taking a very relaxed approach, which is definitely beneficial to the industry. Both the SEC and the CFTC have definitely let things play out right now. I mean, they definitely have called some foul play on some projects, and issued some cease and desist orders to, you know, these kind of shady projects. Again, you know, that was rightfully so, and we want to see that continue, right? We definitely want to see the SEC and the CFTC kind of have our backs in that regard. Um, Now, Back wasn't launching. I mean, I don't think Back was even a thing. Like, nobody knew about this. Physically settled futures, Bitcoin futures contracts. Um, so, I mean, we knew the CBOE, which has now halted futures trading. We knew about CBE, um, you know, issuing the future contracts, but these are cash settled, right? The big difference is Backed is physically settled futures contracts, which is the first in its kind, first in the industry. Which, you know, again, I think we all know what's going to happen because it is physically settled in Bitcoin. So people have to own the asset. People have to buy Bitcoin, and Bakkt is also offering a custodial service along with that. That's what's really taking the bulk of the time for the launch of Bakkt is the regulatory aspect of it, because they do have to offer a solution, a safe haven, if you will, for all that money, all that Bitcoin that's going to be stored on their platform. So, you know, the regulators want to make sure that those funds are going to be safe, and that investors are also going to be safe. So it's a huge thing. Hopefully, Backed, as they just announced today, um, they've been postponing the launch of their platform since back in December 2018, and then they said no. I think we're going to launch in January, and then we had the whole government shutdown that went into February, and finally things started ticking again after that. But it looks like finally they haven't, although they haven't announced an official day in July. It looks like July will be the month that we'll see the first Bitcoin physically settled futures contract in action. So looking forward to that for sure. I think it's going to bring a lot more savvy investors into the space, more money certainly into the space. So definitely a big one. Really crossing my fingers, hoping that this goes through for July. Square wasn't selling it, that's for sure. Jack Dorsey, I think, might have been in the lab, just kind of, brainstorming and thinking of, how can we get Twitter involved? How can we get our company involved? And he found a great way. Square does process is one of the main cash processors in certainly the United States. I am actually very impressed with the way they've actually launched their POS point of sale system. Pretty much any shop now you go to, you see that they have Square as their payment processor. And so, I mean, just imagine that, right? Just the possibilities there, the potential that Square has of bringing in more new investors and just enabling all these merchants and all these business owners and just opening up another branch of income and revenue and just new customers because they offer Bitcoin. Like I myself, if I see somebody that offers Bitcoin as a payment option, you bet I'm gonna favor them over somebody who's just traditional Visa, Mastercard, or Amex, whatever. Yeah, I am going to gravitate towards that business because I want to support, and that's really hopefully that's also your mindset is we definitely want to be supportive of this space, and that's one way of definitely doing it is to make sure that you support and you do business with those folks who have adopted crypto in their business. Fidelity wasn't storing it for sure. Fidelity definitely was a surprise to me. I thought of Fidelity as of somebody who's just kind of that vanilla folder, like that eight paper um, type of business. Like they weren't going to get into this. It just seems like I don't know. They've completely changed my mind. I think they're trailblazers now, as opposed to what I thought of them before this whole news broke out, and really pioneering the whole custody services in crypto. I think a lot of companies have seen what they've done, and really it's raised a lot of eyebrows out there, and big companies like the New York Stock Exchange and Bakkt, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, one that you guys don't hear mentioned, but I thought was a great story and nobody was talking about was BitGo, another storage solution, another custodial solution, who recently, within the beginning of the year, secured a $100 million policy for their investors. So, in case a breach of their network and some Bitcoin or any crypto was stolen, the kind of like the FDIC insurance with traditional banks. BitGo actually secured an insurance policy for all of their investors, which I thought was just one of the biggest news at the beginning of the year that really nobody was talking about. Again, huge. And now you see Fidelity coming into the same game. Um, and yeah, so thanks Fidelity, thanks BitGo. Definitely the trailblazers um, in the storage world for crypto. And then TD Ameritrade, we saw this come up. This is not something that just came out today. This is something that we knew about a week or two ago. TD Ameritrade was testing their crypto trading desk, and I'm not sure if they were trying to make it a known thing, but obviously news got out that they were testing their new trading desk with TD Ameritrade. And it's due to go live, I think, pretty soon. Don't quote me on the date because I actually don't have one. But they're due to go live pretty soon. And then lastly, the certainly Whole Foods. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, right? I look at Whole Foods and I think of the granola folks, fine folks, but just didn't think that Whole Foods would be interested in accepting crypto or Bitcoin or anything like that. So huge surprise there. I think again it's going to start a ripple effect. We saw another thing that's not on here, but we saw eBay announcing that they're going into crypto. They're now accepting crypto. So definitely, and then we saw about a month or two ago, we saw Kroger, one of the largest um, grocery companies, um, tinkering with the thought of maybe accepting crypto. Certainly, they posted on. I remember seeing their post on Twitter, and some people were saying, "Hey, you should accept Bitcoin since you're not, since you're thinking of getting rid of Visa. This might be another good way to go." And again, guys, it's just opened up a whole new branch of customers that probably weren't necessarily there before. Again, I'm in the mindset that I am going to support those businesses if they should decide to accept crypto for sure. Yeah, so Whole Foods accepting it. Hopefully that'll expand to other grocery stores and other maybe who knows, maybe some like the WalMarts and the which would be great. And Amazon, I definitely want to see Amazon. Although you can now use a kind of a bridge processor to buy your things on Amazon. You go through this third-party app, and then they convert it into dollars, and then you can buy whatever on Amazon. But it's not a direct relationship to Amazon, so we're still yet to see that. Hopefully we'll see that in the coming months. Um, all right, so I mean that kind of covers all the yeah, pretty much covers all the news for today. I want to talk about. So, real quick, if you like the video and you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to try to bring content to you guys pretty much every, I mean, as much as I can. A little bit of a background on me. I'm actually just starting this channel, so it is a new venture for me, a new project. I'm definitely looking forward to building a new community. I am definitely interested in the debunkment, if that's even a word, of the FUD and all the exaggeration around market manipulation, fake volume, all these sort of things that just come up and are sensationalists and it's all clickbait. So definitely want to put in more of a put my 2 cents in a more realistic, more of a feet on the ground approach, and just be more of an equalizer when you have all of these outrageous, thoughts and theories about the market's being manipulated by the shorters, and it's all going to go to hell because there's mafias out there manipulating the price, this and that. You know what I'm talking about. You guys have seen it, heard it all. So that's kind of my take on what I like to do. So again, hit the like button, share it, definitely subscribe. We'll greatly appreciate that, and let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll try to get to do these videos as much as I can. I'm also having a baby, so I kind of chose a really really difficult time for this. I'm due pretty much any time now, and so definitely very excited for that. So hopefully I'll be able to still keep up with the content and the news. Also, definitely follow me on Instagram. Definitely want to make sure you guys follow me there. I do post frequent daily content on news events, things that are happening around the crypto sphere. And it kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be talking about, during these live streams. So definitely, hopefully you will want to follow those and stay tuned. Let me know in the comments what you guys would like for me to cover. What sort of news and events are you interested in? Um, and also, I'm going to pose a question now, and hopefully you guys will want to answer that in the comments. What do you guys think we owe this pump to? Personally, and I said this, if you go to my Instagram, I posted on March 27th or 28th. I posted about how this is going to be a, guys. There we go. There's my face. Here we are. Uh, March 27th, I posted on Instagram that April is usually a big month for crypto, and we're going to see a big pump. I thought we were going to 5,000 for sure. Did not even. I'm not going to even go there. Did not think we are going to hit 8,000. I mean, certainly not. I knew we were going to have a pump in April, but goodness, this has been way, way more than I expected it to be. Some folks are attributing this pump to the consensus, and the the consensus meetups, and I mean it's kind of like award season in crypto right now, where everybody's having a crypto conference. There's a bunch going on right now, the consensus being the biggest one. And then we typically see a drop after that. Although last year, we didn't see much of a bump. If you remember that. Last year, April 2018, we didn't see much of a run. Um, People kind of forgot about that. But historically, if you go back to 2017, 2016, 2015, you typically see a pump in Bitcoin around April, going into May, and then right after the consensus, um, meetup, then you start seeing a drop in price. So, what do you guys think? Let's see what happens. I personally think we should see a correction, like I was showing you a little bit ago. Um, yeah, I think we're going to see a correction here. Let's go to that chart here. Guys, it's coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we're to see this price action definitely come back down to test these low levels, and then again come back up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. See if I want to see if you guys think it's we're out of the woods. Maybe you think this is even gonna isn't this isn't sorry gosh this isn't something we're gonna see at all. Maybe you guys think, maybe you guys agree with me. Let me know either way. Uh, okay, well, I think that's all I got for you guys today. Definitely hit me up on the comments and let me know what you guys think out there. All right, the Real Shot 256 on Instagram and on Twitter. Check us out. Definitely follow us, and we'll be certain to follow you back. All right, guys, have a great night. It's been a pleasure. Talk to you soon.